A girl and her boyfriend accidentally bound two doomsday systems. One was the melting system, the other the freezing system. The boyfriend picked the freezing system with a laugh, leaving the girl with no choice but to take the melting system. A week later, a global glacier doomsday struck without warning. Everyone was trapped indoors, and food and warmth became a matter of life and death. Using the melting system, the girl melted the thick ice blocking the building, and thawed frozen supplies. Later, city managers found her, and used her power to supply heat and electricity to the whole city. The girl quickly became a celebrated hero in the doomsday, but her boyfriend was eaten up by jealousy. The second the doomsday ended, he lured her to the rooftop and pushed her off, hoping to take her place and be worshipped by everyone. When the girl opened her eyes again, she was reborn back to the day they chose the systems. As soon as she came to her senses, she heard her boyfriend pretend to dislike the melting system, saying he would leave the good one for her. The girl realized instantly, her boyfriend had also been reborn. Since he was determined to be the doomsday hero and feed his vanity, the girl decided to let him have his way. She voluntarily chose the freezing system. Once the system was bound, the boyfriend was secretly overjoyed, thinking he had finally seized the melting system. He couldn't wait to test his power and fantasize about rising to power. He had no idea the melting system was a treasure in the doomsday, but also a target for all forces. The greater the power, the heavier the price. The boyfriend knew nothing of the danger. The apartment they lived in was rented by the girl. In her past life, the boyfriend had moved in under the excuse of job hunting and preparing for marriage. This time, she decided to move out early and find a new place. Only 7 days remained before the doomsday. There was still time. Through a rental app, she chose a remote neighborhood next to a cemetery, sparsely populated and safe. She drove there, paid the full rent, and got the keys. By the time she settled the new home, a whole day had passed. That night she returned to the old apartment. Her boyfriend asked why she was late. She lied about working overtime to calm his doubts. He noticed nothing unusual and went back to his room. The girl sneered inwardly. In her past life, she had been blind to his true face. Now, with the melting system, he could only wait eagerly for the doomsday, dreaming of controlling others to satisfy his greed. Early the next morning, the girl went to work as usual and asked for a month's leave. She then rushed to a large supermarket, and bought out self-heating meals, canned food, water, quilts, and all supplies. She transported them to her new home again and again. She also ordered large amounts of fast food online, bought poultry for fresh eggs, and purchased solid alcohol, generators, water filters and other equipment. She shopped wildly by day, and used her freezing power at night, to freeze and preserve all perishable food. She prepared thoroughly for the end. For days, she came back late at night, while her boyfriend slept soundly. He stored no supplies at all. He was convinced the melting system would make him a ruler in the doomsday, so he felt no fear, only eager for the disaster to come. Late one night, the boyfriend suddenly stood by her bed. The girl tensed up, thinking her plan was exposed, but he only wanted money for new expensive shoes to satisfy his vanity. The girl felt disgusted. He still chased pleasure even as the end neared. She refused directly, saying she had spent all her salary. His face turned dark. He slammed the door and left to find his so-called first love. In her past life, after the doomsday came, he had forced the girl to risk her life to save his first love. When she died in the cold, he blamed the girl and hated her. This time, he would only fawn on her more eagerly. The girl picked up her phone and called him, lying that the company sent her on a business trip, and she would not be home for a week. He hung up casually and reminded her the doomsday was near. The girl didn't care. Her goal was achieved. He thought she knew nothing, so she could plan in peace. She then packed all her supplies, drove to her new home, and took every bit of food from the old apartment, leaving nothing for him. After arriving, she used the freezing system to lock the doors and windows solid with ice, keeping strangers out. After a full day of organizing, the apartment became a strong doomsday shelter. She only needed to stay inside to survive safely. In the previous glacier doomsday, 30% of survivors froze to death in the extreme cold. With the freezing power, the girl was immune to the cold. As long as she had enough food and water, she would live. Before leaving the old apartment, she installed a hidden camera. The next morning, she checked the footage. Her boyfriend was sitting in the bedroom, face glowing with anticipation. At that moment, a violent snowstorm swept outside the window. The glacier doomsday had officially arrived.